Go on!
It's a story about two girls who are involved in a murder when they're sort of teenagers, and one of them is acquitted and the other is sent to prison. And after 17 years, my character, Poppy, is released from prison.
It's about these two girls leading completely polar opposite lives. I mean, one of them locked up for 17 years and the other going off to university, meeting the love of her life, having a baby, creating a whole new life.
So it's really about the relationship, I suppose, between these two girls and how their lives have changed and how one has sort of been burdened with the past, if you like, and the other has lived in denial of it.
Serena has created a whole family for herself up in Leeds and has to come back to Brighton where the piece is set to look after her mother.
Mom!
Oh, hello, darling.
How are you?
You're early. I wasn't ready for you.
Serena has put it into a part of her brain that it's locked, keys hidden away, and she's purposely trained herself to put it into a place, which means she never has to think about it. And I think her mother will have pushed for her to do that, and the sister, and I don't think that any of the time that she's seen them, they've ever talked about it.
Being back here... terrified.
It happened 17 years ago. It's over. No one remembers.
Yeah, but I do. It's all coming back.
Just think about Mum. She needs us.
These callous young women stabbed him 11 times.
You've got our dual timelines. We have two women, one of whom has been in prison for the last 17 years, and the other has a nice sort of middle-class life. And as it goes on, you realise they had an event that connected them in their past.
We're shooting The Ice Cream Girls, which is based on a novel by Dorothy Combeson. Kate Brooke has adapted it into 3 parts. The story is set in 2 timelines, so we've got the present-day story with the 2 older girls, Serena, played by Lorraine Burrows, and Poppy, played by Jodie May. We also then have the flashback stuff, which is 1995, where we meet the 2 girls when they're younger, and they're played by 2 different actresses, Holly Dempsey and Georgina Campbell. Dorothy's book is based in Brighton, but we're shooting in Dublin.
The architecture on Bray Promenade just felt like a smaller South Coast town. We got best of both worlds. Had we filmed it in Brighton, who knows if we'd have actually been able to get the kind of freedom we would have needed on the seafront. The sea does have a thematic importance, just with the memories and the sense of trying to wash the memories away, the way that the sea kind of always brings things back as well. You don't really get things kind of ever buried totally.
Silence in court. Poppy Carlisle and Serena Gorringe are charged with the murder of Marcus Halnsley.
It's not as lovely as the title suggests. It's about 2 girls who were tried for murder in the 90s.
What did your relationship with Mr. Halnsley entail?
He was my teacher, and we became friends.
Lovers?
Yes.
They both, when they were younger, had a relationship with their teacher, and then he gets murdered, which is me.
Mr. Halnsley is in a relationship with my client. Poppy can't stand it. She kills him in a fit of jealousy.
You are trying to figure out who'd done it, but the more interesting thing is how they ended up in that situation, because they both sort of have different memories of what happened.
Poppy's lying. If she was crazy about him, she wanted him for herself.
Serena and Poppy are quite different, sort of. You know, she dresses up really smartly for court, for example. Poppy goes in a little jumper and she's got no chance.
Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
No! Not take her away! You can't! Don't!
It's good drama because you get what happens then, and then you've got all those years later, how it's affected these people.
It does very much feel as if there are 2 different films being made. For Poppy, it's a very kind of bleak world. She's not accepted or sort of integrated in any way. So for her, it's very much about how she makes that adjustment to coming out into a world where she's got to kind of build a new life for herself.
Did it ever, not even once, cross your mind that when I told that judge I was innocent, I was telling the truth?
After 17 years, she sort of I suppose, is quite obsessed to some degree about the past and the life that she could have had, which Serena has been able to have and she hasn't. She becomes sort of quite fixated upon this other girl, and everything becomes about her need to prove herself to be innocent and to find out the truth about what really happened.
My character's just trying to cover from her family the fact that any of this had ever even happened.
Hey.
Serena's life is how you'd plan it, that perfect lifestyle. But that's on the outside. On the inside, she's a beaten and torn person that's had to hide this secret for all these years. So she has more to lose right now.
It's been difficult, hasn't it, being back? Tell me.
Poppy's out. She went to see Evan at the surgery. She didn't tell him who she was, but she could have told him everything.
She mustn't be allowed to. She's not, on the surface, a loving person. But in the story, because she's ill, I think she starts enjoying being able to say to her daughters, I do love you, and I am here for you, and I know you're here for me. I think she regrets that she didn't give herself the chance to do that earlier on.
Serena, listen to me. Don't say anything until I get a solicitor. Serena!
I think Serena feels that the whole thing defines her and she's been living this separate life. So characters like myself are pulling the strings on her emotions that she's been hiding for so long.
Are you okay? Because, well, since we moved here, you seem different.
I'm just finding it hard, seeing your grandmother like this.
Poor Mum.
She's angry as well, I think. She's so protective of her family, Serena. You know, her daughter especially, she just doesn't want anything or anyone to affect her daughter.
Is she dangerous?
Poppy Carlisle has spent half her life in prison for a crime she still insists she didn't commit. Dangerous? Well, your guess is as good as mine.
It's really looking at relationships. You know, relationships that are quite wrong. Whether that's between family, between teachers, the relationship between Serena and Poppy.
The relationship is about two girls who become sort of infatuated.
Thanks.
Serena, more so than Poppy, with somebody who they trust, who's a teacher.
Don't do yourself down, Serena. You're bright. And I hear you get great marks in history.
Have you been checking up on me, sir?
She sets out to seduce Marcus. I mean, she's not a daft young girl, you know. She's a very good-looking, you know, teenager who chases him.
We shouldn't do this.
Why not?
Because it's wrong.
In the case of Serena, he is genuinely in love. And in the case of Poppy, then that's when his more predatory side comes out, because he just sees a young, vulnerable, innocent girl who wants some companionship, and he just swoops in there.
I think if you don't get attention from a lot of males, and when someone does, it's a lot easier to sort of fall for that.
You're a virgin, Poppy.
No.
I think you are.
I don't see him being able to do this with women who
No.
know themselves and who are strong, and they just wouldn't stand for any of it.
I think they've cast Marcus brilliantly, because Martin has this kind of really wonderful sort of warmth and something that you sort of instantly trust about him and warm to. And so in that sense, it's a very sort of plausible, believable situation.
I can't. With her outside. I know I haven't been to her.
You have to be careful when you're playing anything like that, especially when you're playing somebody who's, I don't know, slightly evil or psychotic, is to try and ground it all in truth or in some sort of reality or their reality, and not doing it just for the sake of being bad.
There is something, I think, that's interesting in the scripts, which is that, you know, Kate has been really careful about sort of following through the consequences of that, you know, and in a sense sort of portraying somebody who's obviously, you know, quite manipulative. So ultimately, he does have all the power, in a sense, in that relationship.
Right, come on. Take a lick of Poppy's ice cream. Yeah? Now let's have a little kiss.
No.
Come on.
Our memories are kind of meant to be this kind of dreamy, young, you know, we're in the height of love, and it's done really cleverly because you've got a complete juxtaposition. It's beautiful shots, and it's sunny, and it's gorgeous, and it's like you're in a romantic movie. That's exactly how it was for those girls. They thought it was this kind of massive romantic thing, and they didn't realise the kind of aggression and violence within it that they should have been picking up on and running away from.
The flashbacks are always emotionally motivated. The big decisions are about how you treat them visually and how you make it clear to the audience, or whether you do want to make it clear to the audience always which timeline you're in. And I think there are certain scenes where we deliberately play on the fact that just for a moment you're maybe not sure which scene you're in, because you are living it through the character. Often sort of intercutting back at the beginning of a flashback to the present day. So you really felt the modern characters were really being placed within their flashbacks, if you like.
We're making a really subtle difference between the two time frames by shooting on two different lenses. When we shoot the 1995 stuff, we're using a lens that gives it a sort of nostalgic look with a little bit of flair and a little bit more kind of a romantic sense. And then the present day stuff is going to be very crisp and very detailed and much sort of darker and deeper, if you like.
There's a slight unreality to memory. The way we treated the light, the lenses we used, you know, technically there were things we did, I think, to get to the emotional truth of those memories, often to make them a little bit more dreamier. There is a sense in which we wanted to let the ground shift a little bit when you were in that world.
I love you. I won't let you go.
I think it's a really great drama because we don't see enough female-led dramas, and these are two great, strong female leading roles.
Welcome to my world. If it's revenge you want, you've got it.
It's a thriller, and that hopefully keeps people guessing right to the end.
Why do you hate me so much? Why do you think?
It's also very much an emotionally driven story. And I suppose it's about secrets, and it's about trying to keep secrets, and whether you can keep secrets like that from people that you love, and whether that has an effect on your life.
You want to see what happens to these girls, and essentially, who was it that actually did this crime? And I think it will keep people on the edge of their seats.